On our wedding anniversary, I ordered a cake and waited until after midnight, but my wife never came home. Instead, her secretary, Julian Pierce, sent me a photo and a gloating message. "Sorry, it's my birthday today. Your wife is with me. Oh, and she also bought me a $30 million watch. Hope you don't mind." I replied, "I don't mind. You two have fun." Then I blocked him. A second later, my wife called to chew me out. "He's my secretary and he does excellent work. What's wrong with giving him a watch? Do you have to target him like that? You narrow-minded waste of space," I laughed coldly to myself. How am I the narrow-minded one? I'm actually quite generous. I'm ready to get rid of a wife I've had for 3 years, let alone a watch. After hanging up, I threw the cake in the trash. I never liked sweet, cloying things anyway. I only bought it to indulge Cassandra Thorne's taste. Since she didn't appreciate it, why should I deny myself? I ordered a spicy combo meal and savored every bite, finally satisfying my own craving. Full and content, I lay down on the sofa to rest. I assumed Cassandra wouldn't be back tonight, but surprisingly, she came home early. The moment she walked in, she pinched her nose and demanded, "How dare you sneak spicy food?" Without looking at her, I answered lazily, "Eating spicy food isn't a crime. It's not sneaking. Sneaking around and doing dirty, illicit things on the side now that sneaking around perhaps the remark hit a nerve, because Cassandra immediately flew into a rage. She yanked me up from the sofa and slapped me hard across the face. "You know I don't eat spicy food. Are you doing this just to disgust me? And making those snide remarks about me sneaking around? Your mind is truly filthy." I couldn't be bothered to argue with her. I just took a photo of my swollen face and bleeding lip. This was evidence of her domestic abuse, a guaranteed win in court. Cassandra looked at me with contempt. "You pathetic wimp. Are you taking pictures to play the victim?" I gave her a cold glance. "I'm keeping them to call the police," she scoffed. "Go ahead, if you're not afraid of the humiliation." I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and headed for the door. This house was suffocating. I couldn't stand another second in it. Cassandra grabbed my arm, her eyes fierce. "I'm not done with you about Julian. Where do you think you're going?" I wrenched my hand free, my voice laced with impatience. "What about him? Did he go crying to you again?" Ever since Julian started working here, the drama of him framing and slandering me had become a regular, tiresome occurrence. Sure enough, Cassandra began listing my supposed crimes. "I just gave him a watch, and you dared to threaten him. Apologize to him right now, or I'll demote you without waiting for my consent." Cassandra dialed Julian's number and put it on speaker. Before I could say a word, Julian started playing the victim. I should be the one to apologize. I never should have accepted Miss Thorne's gift and upset Mr. Wright. I can return the watch. I just begged Mr. Wright not to target me at work. His acting was so terrible I almost burst out laughing. But Cassandra bought it completely. She glared at me viciously. "Who do you think you are, Sincere? You're just a damned techie. You don't get to call the shots in this company. If you bully my staff again, I'll transfer you to the factory floor. See how you like that I wasn't scared of her threats in the slightest." I shot back defiantly. "Fine by me, just don't come to regret it with that." I slammed the door on my way out. I could hear Cassandra's furious screams behind me, but I tuned them out. The next day I went straight to the factory. Cassandra called me dozens of times, but I didn't answer. Furious, she tagged me in the company group chat. "You dare to skip work? You don't want your job anymore?" I replied in the chat with a picture of the factory, reminding her, "Didn't Miss Thorne tell me to come to the factory?" "You're so forgetful," the group chat exploded. Executives and shareholders alike voiced their displeasure. The company was at a critical stage in developing a new project, and I was the technical director. If I was gone for even a day, the team under me would be completely stalled. Every day the project was delayed meant a loss of over $1 million. Bowing to the pressure, Cassandra softened her tone. "I was just angry last night. Don't take it seriously. You personally developed this project. It really can't be done without you." I sneered inwardly. So she regretted it already? Too. Fine. As long as she was willing to back down, I didn't mind giving her a way to save face. When I returned to the company, the tech department resumed its normal operations. At lunchtime, Cassandra extended a rare invitation for us to eat together. I agreed, planning to use the time to discuss our divorce. As long as she stopped her theatrics, an amicable split was the best I could hope for. What I didn't expect was for Cassandra to bring Julian along to our lunch. Seeing her all-business demeanor, I assumed she wanted to talk about work. After we sat down at the restaurant, Cassandra offered me a bouquet of lilies. Yesterday was our anniversary. I was held up, so I'm making it up to you today. I didn't take the flowers. I turned away, covering my nose and letting out a sneeze. Get those away from me, don't you know I'm allergic to lilies? Cassandra's face instantly darkened. Sincere, are you ever going to stop? Making up excuses like that just to act high and mighty. I already got you flowers. What more do you want? I was utterly speechless. It was truly pathetic that after 3 years of marriage, she still didn't know I was allergic to lilies. Julian, sitting beside her, fiddled with an exquisitely wrapped bouquet of roses, a smug look in his eyes. But his words were full of feigned grievance. Miss Thorne, it's all my fault. Is Mr. Wright upset that you gave me roses? Honestly, I'd be happy with either roses or lilies. Why don't I give my roses to Mr. Wright? As he spoke, Julian pushed the roses toward me. Cassandra snatched them back and shoved them into Julian's arms. These roses were carefully chosen for you, a reward for your excellent work today. Julian feigned a shy look. You're too kind, Miss Thorne. I'll keep working hard, but I really don't want to make things difficult for you. Even though the lilies were a buy-one-get-one-free gift, I quite like them. He then shot a provocative glance at me. I don't mind trading with Mr. Wright. I let out a cold laugh. So they were a freebie. How thoughtful of you, Cassandra. Enraged, Cassandra threw the wilting bouquet of lilies at me, her tone vicious. You're a useless waste who doesn't work hard and has a terrible attitude. What right do you have to be picky? I'm doing you a favor by giving you lilies. Take them or leave them. The lilies hit me right on the nose. The intense fragrance sent me into a fit of sneezing, my nose running uncontrollably. An unbearable itch started all over my body, and my breathing grew rapid and shallow. I quickly threw the flowers into the trash and dialed 911, explaining the situation to the dispatcher. Cassandra froze, stammering, Are you really allergic to lilies? I leaned weakly against the back of the chair, gasping for air, unable to speak a single word. Julian chimed in with a snide tone. Mr. Wright's symptoms don't look like an allergic reaction. I have a friend who's allergic to pollen, and he just gets a skin rash. Cassandra grabbed my hand to inspect it, and her attitude shifted dramatically. There's not a single rash. Sincere, that's enough. Are you trying to act out some TV drama scene just to make a point? Have you been watching too much TV? I didn't want to say another word. All I wanted was to stay alive. Thankfully, the ambulance arrived quickly, and the paramedics gave me allergy medication right away. My life was saved, but I ended up spending a week in the hospital. When Cassandra came to visit, she offered no apology, only disgust. A grown man with such a fragile constitution. You're useless. Wasting a week of work cost the company millions. I couldn't take it anymore. I slapped her across the face. Is my life that worthless in your eyes? Cassandra clutched her face, screaming in fury, How dare you hit me? This is domestic abuse. I'm going to sue you 3. I was unfazed. Let her sue. If my slap was domestic abuse, then what she and Julian did was attempted murder. They forced me into contact with a known allergen even after I had explicitly stated I was allergic. Their intentions were malicious. After being discharged, I continued my sick leave to recover. Cassandra grew restless and ordered me back to work, threatening to mark me as absent without leave. I don't respond to threats, only to kindness, so I ignored her. Eventually, desperate to get me back to work and cut her losses, she softened her approach again. One day, she came home from work early and cooked me a meal. The table was filled with all my favorite spicy dishes, and they tasted surprisingly good. To give her some face, I ate a proper meal. Just as I was about to lay my cards on the table and suggest an amicable split, Julian's call came through. Cassandra answered it in front of me, accidentally putting it on speaker. Julian's voice echoed from the phone. "Miss Thorne, did Mr. Wright enjoy the takeout I ordered? If he's still angry, I can come over and apologize in person. It's all for the sake of work." Cassandra lowered her voice, glanced at me guiltily, and mumbled a reply. "It was fine. How could I let you go to such trouble? Did she take me for a dead man?" I exposed her on the spot.
"So this is your idea of sincerity?"
Serving me takeout, Cassandra froze, looking at me with embarrassment. "You know I can't cook, and pre-made meals can be delicious too." I put down my chopsticks, my appetite gone. Why couldn't she just tell the truth from the start? What a waste of time. Fine, I'll come back to work. But you and Julian both have to apologize to me. Cassandra's face instantly darkened, and she flipped the dining table over in a rage. "Sincere, don't push your luck. Don't you dare think I can't live without you." I just smiled coldly. It wasn't that she couldn't live without me, it was the company that couldn't. Not unless Cassandra was willing to abandon the project I had developed, but with so much money already invested, the sunk costs were too high. That gave me the leverage to negotiate. "It's not you doing me a favor, it's me doing you one. You and Julian nearly killed me. An apology is getting off easy. If I really wanted to press the issue, you'd both be in jail." Cassandra was speechless, her expression still ugly. The shareholders and executives started applying pressure again in the work group chat. The project was stalled, yet the salaries for the entire tech department and the cost of equipment maintenance were still a huge drain. One shareholder was already planning to pull his investment to cut his losses. Key executives began submitting their resignations. Cassandra was getting desperate. She looked at me resentfully.
"It's just an apology, right? Fine, I apologize, I'm sorry. Can you come back to work now?"
I refused to accept such an insincere apology. I walked straight into the bedroom, locked the door, and refused to communicate. Cassandra banged on the door frantically. I put on my headphones, blasted some music, and pretended not to hear. Half an hour later, a long string of messages came from her. "I was wrong, sincere. I sincerely apologize. I've called Julian over too. Please open the door and let him apologize to you." I opened the door, and Julian immediately dropped to his knees. He was really willing to do anything, wasn't he? "Mr. Wright, it was my fault. I didn't know you were allergic to lilies. I shouldn't have accepted Miss Thorne's gift. I'll return it right away. If you still can't stand the sight of me, I'll resign." Julian's eyes were bloodshot, as if he'd been deeply wronged. Cassandra looked at him with pity but didn't stop him from kneeling. Their attitude was decent enough, so I agreed to return to work. But Julian's good behavior lasted only a day. The very next day, he cornered me in the company restroom to provoke me. "You're just a tech grunt. Do you really think the company can't survive without you? Miss Thorne has already started recruiting new people, and your assistant Walter just handed over your technical proposal. Get lost the company, and Cassandra can only be mine for." I was shocked. Walter Hill was one of them? And I had trusted him so much, even giving him the combination to my safe. My technical proposal was always kept in that safe, and only Walter and I knew the combination. All this time, I had treated Walter as my closest confidant. I never imagined they had schemed so hard that they'd even bought out my right-hand man. On my first day back at work, I had finalized the proposal for this project. The rest was just execution. Did Cassandra and her cronies really think I was useless now? Sure enough, just as I left the restroom, Cassandra called a major meeting. She announced on the spot that, due to my poor work attitude, I was being removed from my position as technical director, and Julian, for his outstanding performance, would be taking my place, with me serving as his assistant. The shareholders immediately complained. Julian knew nothing about technology. How could he be the technical director? They even threatened to withdraw their investments to keep me in my position. But Cassandra didn't care. She smugly believed that the project I was in charge of was nearly finished. Once it was delivered, she would make a huge profit and no longer be constrained by the other shareholders. So, She couldn't care less if they pulled their funding. As for the executives who resigned over her decision, she felt no need to retain them either. After making her announcement, she stubbornly declared the meeting adjourned. I suddenly slammed my hand on the table, an unauthorized emotion. "Did you get my consent for this?" Cassandra threw a folder at my face. "What right do you have to disagree? I'm your boss. If I tell you to eat shit, you eat shit." I threw the folder right back at her, my voice steady and defiant. "You're disgusting, Cassandra. Do you really think you're some kind of empress and everyone will obey you? I quit and I want my profit share. Plus 3 times my salary and compensation." Cassandra stared at me in disbelief, pounding the table as she roared. "If you quit, then get out. You won't get a single cent." Julian, smug and triumphant, chimed in from the side. "Sincere, you're the one who resigned. Forget about profit sharing and compensation. You won't even get your salary. I advise you to calm down and be my assistant. I promise I won't make things hard for you." I rolled my eyes at him, looking at him like he was a clown. He wasn't even officially the director yet and was already trying to flex on me. It was nauseating. "If you want to sue, I'm ready. The money that's mine is mine, and I won't let you keep a single penny of it." Leaving them with that, I went back to my office to pack my things. Julian, terrified I might not actually leave, sat down in my office chair before I had even finished, posturing arrogantly. "You can't take any company property with you, otherwise I'll report you for theft." I looked at the cheap office supplies and suddenly lost all interest in them. The most important things were on a hard drive I always carried with me. "Since you like my used things so much, you can have them. I'm not interested in used goods or used women." Julian's face turned pale with rage. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Figure it out." Tossing that line over my shoulder, I walked out with my laptop. Cassandra was blocking the doorway. She had heard everything. Her face was grim, but she didn't dare say anything to me, because standing beside her was Victoria Vance from our client's company. Victoria was a childhood friend of mine, and she had only agreed to partner with our company because of me. "Mr. Wright, are you heading out on a business trip?" Victoria asked. I shook my head. I was demoted for no reason. I quit. Victoria's expression immediately soured. She looked at Cassandra with displeasure. "Miss Thorne, what is going on here? Mr. Wright has always been in charge of our joint project. Are you switching him out now?" 5. Cassandra quickly explained. "Sincere refuses to follow company arrangements. I'm assigning a more responsible person to liaise with your company." She pointed to Julian. "This is him, Director Pierce. He studied abroad." Julian scurried over to brown-nosed Victoria, extending his hand obsequiously. "Ms. Vance, a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to working with you." Victoria ignored his hand and turned to Cassandra with a look of disdain. "Isn't this your secretary? Have you lost your mind assigning someone who knows nothing about technology to work with my company? Change it back immediately, otherwise the deal is off." Humiliated, Julian's face turned ashen. He tried to save face. "Ms. Vance, this is our company's internal affair. You have no right to." Before he could finish, Cassandra cut him off. "Shut up." Victoria was furious now. "Fine. Since your company isn't serious about this, let's just scrap the project." With that, she turned and walked away. Cassandra tried to stop her and explain, but Victoria was gone. She shoved me hard. "Aren't you going to go get Ms. Vance back? If this contract is terminated, can you afford to take responsibility?" I stood my ground and laughed sarcastically. "I've already quit. Why should I be responsible for you? Isn't your dear Julian so capable? Let him go show you what he can do." Julian was livid, pointing at me and shouting, "You deliberately sabotaged the partnership. You're despicable." Then he turned to Cassandra, whining. "Miss Thorne, you just yelled at me in front of a client. I feel so wronged. This is clearly Sincere's fault." This time, Cassandra didn't side with him. She told him to leave, saying she needed to speak with me alone. I had no interest in speaking with her alone and refused immediately. "Cassandra, if you have something to say, spit it out. Don't waste my time." Cassandra's face flushed red with anger as she bit out the words.
Is that any way to talk?
We're husband and wife. A team with shared interests. If this deal falls through, it's bad for both of us, I scoffed. Now she remembers we're a team. What about when she was buying Julian expensive watches and roses, spending the night with him, and teaming up with outsiders to bully me? Did she think of us as a team then? I handed her the divorce papers I had prepared, my tone distant. We won't be husband and wife for much longer. You and your secretary can finally be together. You and Julian are the real team. Take it up with him. Cassandra was stunned. She glanced reluctantly at the divorce agreement, and then her face filled with rage. You were planning to leave me all along? And you want to take 60% of the assets? Seeing her play the victim, I realized just how shameless a person could be. 90% of the company's profits were a direct result of my work, yet she felt not a shred of gratitude. Before we were married, her small company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Meanwhile, the company I had founded was thriving, with a constant stream of orders. After we got married, I urged her to close her company and join me in running mine. She refused, saying her small company meant too much to her, and she had to keep it going, even at a loss. She even convinced me to join her company to help her strategize and manage the core business, to focus all my energy on turning her failing company around. I even shut down my own. Now the company was profitable, and it was all thanks to me. But she had gradually forgotten all that, getting involved with her male secretary, openly cheating and oppressing me. And after all that, I was only asking for 60% of the assets, and she had the audacity to act like the victim. Insatiably greedy. 6. Cassandra, stop playing the innocent victim with me when you were cheating. Did you not think about divorcing me? Or did you think I would just tolerate you making a fool of me forever? I spelled it out for her, word by word, reminding her of the disgusting things she had done. A flicker of guilt crossed her face, but she stubbornly refused to admit it. Julian and I just have a professional relationship. It's not as sordid as you think. I laughed sarcastically. Do you take me for an idiot? You don't have to sign the divorce papers. I can just take this to court. For a rare moment, Cassandra looked dejected. Do we really have to get a divorce? I couldn't be bothered with her nonsense. I turned to leave. After all, this wasn't my only legal battle. Cassandra grabbed me. I can sign the agreement on the condition that you smooth things over with Victoria. I shrugged. What's in it for me? I can take you to court even if you don't sign. She gritted her teeth and tried to negotiate new terms. I'll give you the profit share and the triple salary compensation, as long as you stay for one more month. I nodded and handed her my bank card. Transfer the profit share now. The triple salary you can give me in a month. My annual salary was $1 million, so 3 times that was a hefty $3 million. As for last quarter's profit share, that was in the tens of millions, the bigger chunk. But all of that combined was nothing compared to the massive project with Victoria. Once delivered, it would bring in over $100 million in profit. Cassandra knew how to do the math. She didn't hesitate for long before transferring the profit share to me. At the same time, she signed the divorce agreement. I returned to the technical director's office. Julian was resentfully packing up the things he had brought in. I taunted him, "You don't have to pack. Just be my assistant. I promise I won't give you a hard time." Julian glared at me viciously and started making threats. "You've already signed the divorce papers with Cassandra. What are you so smug about? In a month you'll be gone with your pathetic little pile of money. The profits Cassandra and I make from a single project will be more than that." I just smiled. This guy was such an idiot. Did he really think he could just ride Cassandra's coattails to success? Without me, the company wouldn't just stop making money. It would hemorrhage it. As for Cassandra, I had seen her for who she was and no longer cared for her. Leaving a day sooner meant wasting one less day of my life. To speed up the divorce, I deliberately provoked Julian. "We just signed the papers. It doesn't mean we're actually getting divorced. If you don't have what it takes to make her go through with it, you'll always just be the other man." Julian, as expected, was provoked. He warned me viciously that he would make my life a living hell. That night, he coaxed Cassandra into getting a hotel room with him. He even sent me an explicit video of them to show off. I immediately saved it, then pretended to accidentally post it in both the client and company group chats. Then I quickly deleted it. But the office workers, glued to their screens 24/7, had reflexes faster than a stray dog. Not only had they saved the video, but they were actively forwarding it to other groups. Some people who already disliked Cassandra and Julian posted the video on various forums and social media platforms. And just like that, in less than 3 hours, Cassandra and Julian were a trending topic. At that moment, their little tryst had just ended. Reporters, having caught wind of the story, swarmed the hotel to ambush them with cameras and questions. The two of them, still lost in their passion and oblivious to the online storm, were caught completely off guard. Cassandra was instantly plunged into a public relations crisis. No client would dare work with her. All the shareholders pulled their investments, demanding an immediate payout and exit. 7. Victoria, as the company's biggest client, also announced she was terminating their partnership. Cassandra came begging me to talk to Victoria. I seized the opportunity and laid out my condition. I can help you, but you have to agree to finalize the divorce immediately. Cassandra was confused. It's only a month.
You can't even wait that long?
I pulled up the viral video of her scandal that was being shared all over the internet and made her watch her own disgraceful behavior. The whole world knows you cheated. Do you really think I'm willing to wait? Cassandra was speechless. We went to the courthouse and finalized the divorce. The benefit of the divorce was the immediate division of assets. Over the past 3 years, during a boom in the real estate market, Cassandra had, on my advice, used her company dividends to purchase over a dozen properties. All of them were registered in her name only. I had never been suspicious of her. Only through the divorce could I reclaim my share of these properties. The company's cash flow had dried up, and Cassandra was desperate. She was counting on the quick delivery of the project with Victoria. Otherwise, she'd be left with nothing but dwindling savings. I arranged a meeting with Victoria to discuss our future plans. She was ecstatic when she heard I was divorced. She made it clear that she only wanted to work with me, not with Cassandra. I quietly began preparing to launch my own new company and asked Victoria to drag out the termination of her contract with Cassandra for 1 more month. Once I received my triple salary compensation, we would make our move. Victoria agreed. For that month, I was physically present at Cassandra's company, but secretly busy with my own affairs, until the very last day of my contract. Julian couldn't wait to get rid of me. So shameless. It's been a month since the divorce, and you're still hanging around the company, as he taunted me. Julian pulled out his and Cassandra's marriage certificate. He thought this would be a devastating blow. I just let out a contemptuous laugh and showed him my contract. $3 million. Salary plus compensation. Transfer it to my account, and I'll leave. If you don't, I can stick around a little longer. Tomorrow is the project delivery date. I'm sure dear Cassie would want me to put on a good show at the celebration party. I deliberately used Cassandra's intimate nickname, Cassie, just to provoke Julian. He really was a simpleton, his jealousy flaring up like a petty shrew. You're pathetic, clinging to your ex-wife for a measly $3 million. Just take your money and get lost. I'll consider it a handout to a beggar. Just don't let me see you again. He cursed at me while transferring the money. I saw the deposit notification on my phone and let out a sigh of relief. I could finally make a clean break. $3 million wasn't a huge amount, but it was money I had earned, and I wasn't about to leave a single cent for Cassandra and Julian. I walked out of the company, whistling, and ran right into Cassandra. She grabbed my arm anxiously. "Where are you going?" I shook her hand off. "My contract is up. It's time for me to leave." Cassandra was shocked. "Who said you could leave? The project isn't delivered until tomorrow. You have to oversee it." I waved my bank card, my tone distant. "I've already received my triple salary compensation, and my employment contract has expired. I have no obligation to listen to you. A look of dawning horror crossed Cassandra's face as she grabbed onto me. You were just stringing me along for a month for this $3 million? Who gave you the money? Who authorized you to leave today? I nodded toward the jealous-looking Julian standing behind her. Your new husband, of course. Julian lunged forward, pushing me away. Don't touch Cassie. I used the opportunity to slip away. Cassandra tried to run after me, but Julian blocked her, throwing a tantrum. Are you still thinking about your ex-husband? Am I, your new husband, just a decoration? 8. Cassandra berated Julian. You idiot, he's gone. How are you going to handle the project delivery? Julian knew nothing except how to sweet-talk women. He had naively assumed that the partnership with Victoria was a done deal. His only goal was to get rid of me so I couldn't take credit for it. The next day, my new company, a month in the making, was officially launched. Industry leaders and major players all came to congratulate me. Victoria was, of course, among them. My new company's very first project was a collaboration with her. I was full of enthusiasm, presenting the project's promising future to a round of applause. Suddenly, Cassandra and Julian burst in, clearly intending to cause a scene. Cassandra loudly accused Victoria of breaking her word by canceling the contract on the day of delivery. Victoria calmly placed the black and white contract in front of her, completely justified. Your company failed to meet the requirements specified in the contract. Naturally, I refused to accept the delivery. Cassandra couldn't accept this, pleading for more time and promising to meet Victoria's requirements. But Victoria was done. She flatly refused. Your company has delayed me for so long. You should be grateful I'm not suing you for damages. Cassandra didn't dare offend Victoria, so she turned her anger on me. Sincere, you set me up. You were in charge of this project from the beginning. Did you sabotage it? I feigned innocence with a shrug. How is this my fault? Everyone approved the initial project plan. It was your employees who failed to execute it properly. Ms. Vance is dissatisfied now because your company couldn't deliver. That has nothing to do with me. During that last month, although I held the title of technical director, I had no real power. Julian was in charge of overseeing the project's execution, and I couldn't be bothered to intervene. I found it ironic that they were so paranoid about me sabotaging them, yet in the end, they sabotaged themselves. If they had just asked me to supervise at any point, I would have pointed out their mistakes. Since they were so arrogant, let them suffer the consequences. They didn't deserve such a great project. I took the project proposal from my former company, repackaged it, and launched it at my new one. Because I was in full control of the project from start to finish, ensuring quality and timely delivery, Victoria signed a contract with me worth hundreds of millions. With her support and my reputation in the industry, my business quickly took off. My new company's performance soared, and it became a new powerhouse in the industry. Cassandra's company, however, didn't even last a month before facing bankruptcy. If she had cut her losses then, she could have saved enough for retirement. But she was overconfident, and swayed by Julian's encouragement, she mortgaged all her properties to keep the company afloat. In less than 6 months, she had lost her entire fortune and was reduced to working for a living. If she had just settled down at that point, she could have lived a quiet life. However, after 3 years of extravagant living, she couldn't stand being ordinary. At Julian's urging, she used her own body as collateral to start another new company. Predictably, it went bankrupt in less than 3 months. She fell deep into debt. The loan sharks published compromising photos of her, and she eventually resorted to selling herself. Seeing her at a dead end, Julian quickly divorced her and found another rich woman. Those two became a complete laughingstock in our circle. I didn't even want to hear news about them anymore. I started a new life. After my divorce, Victoria began to pursue me. Seeing how much more reliable she was than Cassandra, I quickly accepted her advances. We were a power couple, and our careers soared to new heights. When clients saw me, they would occasionally joke about my past. They all said my fortunes really turned around after I switched wives. 9. I didn't want any connection to Cassandra anymore, so I asked them to stop making jokes about the past. After all, Victoria and I were about to get married, and I didn't want her to feel jealous. I just never thought Cassandra wasn't done with me. One day, Victoria and I were at a boutique looking at wedding dresses. Cassandra appeared out of nowhere, determined to make her presence known. She was wearing the wedding dress from our marriage, and she knelt before me. Sincere, I was wrong. Please, can you forgive me? Those 3 years with you were the happiest days of my life. I know you still love me. Please don't marry Victoria. Come back to me. I shook my head frantically, telling her to give up hope, but she wouldn't. She clung to my leg, refusing to let me go. I was furious, and ugly words escaped my lips. Cassandra, trash like you. How do you even have the nerve to show your face to me? Do you really think you're worthy of the man I am today? We're worlds apart. You're not even fit to shine my shoes with that. I kicked her away, looking at her as if she were a rat in the street. Cassandra lay on the floor, her eyes filled with a vicious light as she glared at me. Sincere, you shouldn't have been so good to me, only to abandon me halfway through, lifting me up to the heavens, only to throw me to the ground. You've destroyed me. You and Victoria conspired to steal my money. I won't let you get away with this. I was so angry I could have spit blood. This madwoman was becoming more and more irrational. She was the one who had wronged me, yet she was blaming me for her downfall. There was no reasoning with someone like her, only force would work. When Victoria returned from the restroom, she saw my grim expression and grew worried. What happened? Are you upset? I nodded. Not wanting to hide anything from her, I told her about Cassandra's visit. Victoria's face turned grim, a cold glint in her eyes. Trying to steal my man? She's got a death wish. I tugged at her sleeve, trying to calm her down. Don't let trash like her ruin your mood. Today is our happy day. Victoria nodded, her expression changing to a radiant smile. I know, but if she ever harasses you again, I won't spare her. Seeing her so fiercely protective of me, I felt a wave of happiness. In my 3 years of marriage to Cassandra, she had never once stood up for me. The difference between one woman and another is truly greater than the difference between a person and a dog. I knew I had chosen the right person, and I would never let Cassandra destroy my happiness again. To prevent Cassandra from causing any more trouble, I hired a security company and got several more bodyguards. Whether I was out alone or Victoria was, we were always protected. Seeing how cautious I had become, Cassandra, who had been secretly following me, didn't dare to try anything. My bodyguards would quickly spot her and alert me to her presence. After a while, realizing her efforts were futile, Cassandra stopped appearing. I relaxed my guard and returned to a normal life. But I never expected that one moment of carelessness would put me in danger again. That day I had a date with Victoria and went to the restaurant alone. As I was walking out of the parking garage, I suddenly felt a sharp blow to the back of my head. I blacked out. When I woke up, I found myself tied up in an abandoned warehouse. Standing before me was a disheveled Cassandra, along with a group of menacing loan sharks. A blonde thug, Spike, held a knife to my neck, his tone flippant.
We're tired of playing with your ex-wife.
You wouldn't want anything to happen to your fiancée, would you? I suppressed my rage and demanded, What do you want? 10. Spike slapped me across the face, his voice harsh. Just a little money. Cassandra said you have plenty of it. I shook my head, trying to persuade him to let me go. Be my bodyguard. I'll pay you $150,000 a year. It's a stable job. It's much better than doing risky work like this. Spike seemed tempted and was about to agree, but Cassandra chimed in, stirring up trouble. Don't believe him. He wouldn't even help his own ex-wife. Why would he be good to a stranger? Besides, you kidnapped him. If you let a tiger back into the mountains, you'll end up in jail. I looked at Cassandra in disbelief. You actually want me dead? Cassandra smiled grimly. Her eyes filled with malice. If my life is miserable, you don't get to be happy either. I'm just asking you to bleed a little to pay off my debts. Why are you so unwilling?
Fighting back nausea and fury, I forced myself to remain calm and play along.
How much do you owe? Cassandra held up 5 fingers, saying it casually. A mere 50 million, that's just pocket change for you. I cursed at her. I have 50 million, but even if I give it to you, you're a bottomless pit that can never be filled. Enraged, Cassandra started kicking me. The money you and Victoria swindled from me. Hundreds of millions in profit from one project. Do you have any shame? If it weren't for you and that bitch, I wouldn't have ended up like this. If you don't give me the money, I'll go get it from her. I quickly stopped her. I can give you the money, just leave her out of this. Cassandra kicked me again. You care about her so much? That just makes me want to go after her more. With that, she started dialing Victoria's number. I've kidnapped your man. Bring 500 million to ransom him, or I'll kill him. Victoria's voice was calm. I don't have 500 million. I can consider 50 million. Cassandra kicked me again. Your man is in my hands and you dare to bargain with me? Victoria remained composed. We're not married yet. 500 million is too much for a man. I'm only willing to spend 50 million. Hearing this, Cassandra burst into manic laughter. And here I thought your love was so great. Turns out it's only worth 50 million. Victoria didn't speak, but I could hear her taking deep breaths. I could tell she was nervous. Afraid that Cassandra would notice something was off, I quickly tried to distract her. I'm grateful that Victoria is willing to pay 50 million to save me. What about you, Cassandra? If I were kidnapped, how much would you be willing to pay for my ransom? I looked at her with a mournful expression, which seemed to stun her. Perhaps the question had indeed struck a chord deep within her soul. Seeing her distracted, Spike slapped her hard. You bitch, what are you daydreaming about? You think your ex-husband still has feelings for you? He's playing you. If you don't get the money soon, I'll sell you off to some hellhole. Cassandra snapped out of it. She pulled a knife hidden in her shoe and waved it in front of my face. You heartless bastard, if someone kidnapped you, I wouldn't spend a single cent on you. Why did you have to be so handsome? If I ruin your face, you won't be able to seduce any more women with that. She raised the knife at me. Stop! A sharp shout echoed through the warehouse as Victoria appeared, a group of police officers right behind her. The police quickly subdued Cassandra and Spike. Victoria rushed over and hugged me, sobbing. I smiled. It's okay now. My wife is so brave. Crying, Victoria explained that to her. I was worth far more than 50 million. I was priceless. She had only said that to buy time. I nodded, telling her I believed her. On the day of my wedding to Victoria, Cassandra escaped from prison and killed Julian. Afterward, she killed herself. After the wedding ceremony, I received a note. It was Cassandra's suicide letter. A wedding gift for you. I hope you like it. I smiled. I actually quite liked it.